Welcome to Earth and Spirit Medicine, Ancient Healing Wisdom Podcast. Episode number 4. And I was just telling Raven Spirit here that I'm not going to bullet point or give you number 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. No personal script. I trust Spirit. That's what all this is about. I trust this process of life. I trust this way. I've found it to be more accurate than any other way in my life that I've heard of, that I've been subjected to, or that's been presented to me. It always comes back to me oftentimes through my life needing to find a way to break through something that was seemingly very challenging. So many of those where it seemed like I wasn't going to figure out a way. It seemed confusing. It seemed like, okay, so I used to say something like this: I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how, and so then I got thinking about this habit that I got into, and I'd feel that level of frustration in my prayers and my dialogue and my speaking and that, I was like, I don't know what to do, because I kind of felt that way. That felt like a very accurate identification, but I didn't go past that, so it kind of left me in this place of, I don't know, but I really do know. You know. At my brother's funeral in 1994, I looked down at my 11-year-old brother then and said, you know. He'll remember this when he listens to this podcast. Because I was up there speaking. And I was doing my best to indicate who my brother Wade was through a name Desert Hawk, and my 2 cousins that were killed in that train auto accident that same day. And at that funeral I was trying to know them as these eternal beings that I couldn't just run up and freaking hug and embrace anymore, see? So we already have an innateness. We already have a knowing. And somehow through it we seem to get in a habit of leaning towards, in this day and age, not just leaning towards other people, like, what do you think I should do? Helen, gosh, what do you think? And I've even asked you before, what do you think? And then afterwards, I'm like, why the crap did I even ask him? Because it's like, I need to decide. But I wanted your input. I wanted your feedback. I wanted a perspective. I didn't want a quick fix. But did we, along the way, are we searching for these quick fixes to get us out of something that we may or may not have gotten ourselves into? But regardless, it feels really weird. We don't want to be there. It might be filled with pain and weird thoughts that keep us right there in that I don't know. So from that funeral time and saying I know, and then leaving that behind now, because that's not the point, really. The point is that we know. So before that time, well, no, it was actually right after 1994, because my oldest daughter was about 3 and we were up the canyon, and she taught me that day to trust in a way differently, that all these kids already know, all these little ones already know. When you hear them over there saying something like, hey, they're talking to their grandfather that died perhaps. And we wonder what they're saying, and then they say maybe their name, and we're trying to figure this out because it seems impressive that a child would tap into that. But they didn't untap, see? They already came with it. They already knew that energy field of what the mortality is and the immortality, what this eternal, infinite, divine. They already know that. They don't need to know the words, see? They just know the process. So that innateness on that hike with my daughter, who was about 3 then, she takes a plant, she puts it in her mouth as we're walking up this canyon, and I'm probably 20 yards ahead of her, and I'm looking back, watching her just slowly touching the plants, and then she stops, and she takes one. She kind of rolls it around her finger, mushes it up, and sticks it down inside of her lip. Like, Come to find out, she's got a canker sore. Come to find out, that plant's called gumweed. Come to find out, it's good for canker sores. So she's going along, meandering. She's like, oh, in whatever way this is going on, oh, this is good for that canker sore. She doesn't know what a canker sore is in that way, or she's got something going on, doesn't feel right. There's some medicine for it. Earth and spirit medicine. Listen to spirit, trust, hey, get that plant. So years later, then I'm up at a camp, and the best way is to ask. So instead of getting stuck in I don't know, it's rather go outside of yourself and ask the teacher, hey God, this little girl's sick. This is what I said this day, because there was a little 5-year-old got Giardia. She's pretty sick. It's sad. Hey God, I know you know. What should I do? I know you know what I need to do. Tell me. Go get some plantain, get some yarrow, and get some dandelion, and make a tea. And she'll be just fine. Make that tea and she'll be good in 20 minutes. So I went and I gathered plantain and yarrow and dandelion, made that tea. And gosh, I told her it's not going to taste very good, but just drink it. She drank about probably 6-8 ounces of that tea. I made it kind of strong. And it was true that 20 minutes or so later, all of her symptoms gone. She's out playing with the kids again and having a great time. Fast forward several years, I was telling that story in a class I was teaching. And somebody came up after and said, hey, my daughter, she just came back from Mexico, seeing family down there, and she's really sick. She went to the hospital. Can I get that medicine you talked about? So I had her come over to my house and gather some plants, plantain, yarrow, and I didn't have any dandelion growing, but she knows what that is, and she had some at her house. It hadn't been sprayed, pesticide. And so she made that, and her daughter was back. That was on a Saturday, and her daughter was at work on Monday. Didn't go back to the hospital. They were just telling her she's going to be sick for a while, but she wasn't. She was good. So research, today's day and age, where we give ourselves to, hey, what do you think's best? I did my research, and some guy that doesn't know crap about grieving taught me how to grieve properly. Hey, I did my research and found out that, this is actually really good for you when everybody's been saying it's not. Hey, I did my research. What is research? Okay, because if you do research like this about plants, okay, if you do research like this and you say, hey, thanks, and you say, hey, I'm going to do some research about some plants, and you get on there and somebody's saying all this and all that, but they haven't experienced it really, see. They may be read in a book, and they make it sound like they're smart, see. And then they come across and tell you things, and then you think, oh, I'm going to take this for this. They say this is good for this, and this is good for this, and this is good for this. Well, I started learning about these herbs in '92, but earlier in the field, okay, but in the herb shops where they would manufacture and bring them all in and, grind them up and powder them and put them into formulas and make them capsules, and then people come in and buy them, but they don't know what they look like in nature. They don't know where to get them. They don't know how much to use. They don't know anything about it. So, I'm out on a on a wilderness youth experience when I did that for those few decades, and I taught some plants. And I told them, don't eat any of these, because I taught a lot of them real fast. You might not remember it. You need to know the Latin name too, see? That's where, or if you're with somebody that knows what they're doing and you can learn how it grows, where it grows, how to use it, what parts are the best for you, and at what time and how. You know, plantain alone can do so many things. And so I said, don't eat these plants to this group of youth, and probably 15 minutes goes by, and this kid comes up, hey, look, and the other kid's got splotches all over his body. I'm like, oh, man. Yeah. He said he ate some of that prickly pear cactus. I said, no, he didn't. Prickly pear cactus would not do that. And so what he ate was some hedgehog cactus. Okay, and it's toxic. It's not good. So they didn't follow the guidance that I gave, that counsel that I offered, and this kid found himself in a strange situation and not feeling good. I found myself in a strange situation of, oh, geez, well, all right, what are you going to do, buddy? So I had some lobelia in an extract form, because I worked for that company, and I knew kind of like in these emergencies, there are certain herbs I like to have out there that helped, that I wouldn't have to hurry and go try and gather. And so this lobelia, I said, okay, look, I'm going to give you this other herb that doesn't even grow around here. And I said, I'm going to give you this dropper full. You're either going to start to calm down or you're going to start to puke, one or the other. So gave him that, and within 15, 20 minutes, all those splotches and rashes were gone. Okay. Kind of had to go in and take the toxicity out of it. You know, lobelia knows how to think more in a way where it's like, you know, kind of like some people. Maybe an engineer maneuvers differently in that brain than, you know, an oil painter artist. You know, maybe that first responder, EMT person operates a little differently in their mind than the restaurant manager. But regardless, they all have a brain, and they can all access divine intelligence, and they can all come to a place of trusting what? Spirit. Oh my gosh. Spirit, what do I do? Get on my phone, oh, what do I do? What do I do? Oh, they say, oh, that didn't work. Oh, what do I do? Oh, that didn't work. Oh, what do I do? Oh, I feel so much anxiety. I feel so much, oh, this is crazy world. What do I do? How do I live every day? It's toxic, okay? This is where you got to do something different than try to get lobelia. You know, this is where you've got to use your inner wisdom. Now, maybe you don't know you have that wisdom, but it's innate, okay? And it comes with a divine platform of other wisdom keepers, and they're invisible to those that don't see spirits, and they talk to us and they help us, and because they're gifters, see, they know the way already, so they're still trying to help us here on this earth platform in this mortality to live an eternal divine way that's kind of been lost. So what we're looking for is truth. What we're really looking for is accuracy. What we're looking for is certainty. We're looking for these absolutes. Absolutes. So, all right. Is that hot? Ooh, why do I want to take my hand away? Oh, that's hot. Ow. Oh. You do it.
No thanks.
You do it. Here, Drew, try this. Made me sick. You know, chew on this. Let me pull that thing out of your leg. Your bones.
No, thank you.
We had to experiment somewhere along the way. We had to find this out, and then somebody's like, hey, don't get too close to the fire. You might get burned. And then they started saying like, oh, you know, that can apply in life too. Don't get too close to those toxic ways. You might get affected. Don't get too close to thought processes that take you down when what you want to do is rise, okay? So put your negativity in that fire, burn it up, figure out a new way. All right, we're done. Wish it was that easy. No, we're not done.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I wish it was that easy, okay? Look how much influence we have upon each other, okay?
Yeah.
We just follow along. We just do these things. We listen and we move. Hey, come on over here. And before you know it, people are coming over there. Hey, you want to try this? Hey, you want to do that? Johnny did this and he didn't make it. Well, maybe everybody ought to know that so that the next Johnny doesn't do it. But what we do is we get locked in fear. Fear keeps us from accessing divine. Darkness and negativity feast on that fear and try to present more to keep them in that place of what we think is truth. These dark spirits do not like you. They do not like me. They do not like him. They do not like any of us. They do not want these ways passed down. This is an absolute. What you want to do is you want to be able to start understanding that you are the answer. You already know. You already have everything that you need. But learning how to go inside yourself. You just got to kind of shut out. You got to close it out. I can hear the fire, I can hear some birds, like the flow of traffic or something sound down the canyon. So when you start to hear your thoughts, and they're jumping all over the place, how do you get them back in control? You address them one at a time. I talked about first thought in the morning, last thought of the night. Come into this life, leave this life. What do you want to leave with? Because it might be today that somebody arrives on this planet, and it might be today that somebody departs. Hopefully, it's all in good perspective. Hopefully, everybody knows what's up. Hopefully, all of us here, when that new one arrives, knows how to assist it to not get taken by the falseness of this world in order to stay connected to divine. And hopefully, that the others that are passing have come to a place of resolve and an understanding that says, hey, I'm right here right now, and it's okay anytime. Anytime is good. Okay, because what I know is it's just a change, a transformation. We go through them all the time. You go from a little guy, little boy, little girl, and you get old. That's kind of the thing, and there's not much getting around it. So how do you take the what isness? How do you work with it? How do you make it resourceful? Make changes today. Today is the day, right here, right now. And, you know, we talked about this dialogue of location and knowing where we are. And, you know, there's north, south, east, and west. These are 4 directions. There's stars that you can follow, this Big Dipper that holds on to this North Star. And if you stay up all night and you watch that so-called Big Dipper that turns and it'll rotate, but that North Star stays the same. So we are spinning, okay? You just need to go slow down and look and see, oh, we're spinning. We're in motion. So if you go back to the other podcasts that we're done with Inside the Raven's Eye, and we've got the personal medicine wheel. We went into a lot of detail, okay? We've got the puppet versus master, okay? And that's where I'm bringing that one up because it's about this motion, space, and time. Everything's moving. And then we've got survival essentials. And that talks about the real down to earth matter that can help us dialogue our ways into a better living every day. So what I would say is, hey, go and listen to all these podcasts. Find them, listen to them. Don't go do your research out there. Learn to get on your knees. Learn to get on your knees and just give thanks and say, look, I'm coming before you, and I'm just giving thanks, and I don't know what this is. I don't know what you look like, because, you know, a lot of people say a lot of things. Oh, you know, God is this way, oh, this way. No, you got to find out for yourself. I can't tell my kids. I can't make them believe believe in Santa Claus and in Jesus Christ at the same time? Can I? Would I want to? What are we as parents doing? What are we as individuals doing? What are we as a human race doing? What are we doing to better ourselves? Because the only way it's going to get better is when everybody makes themselves well. You can't get well by relying upon other people, even though we resource out. I resourced out, got my shoulder surgically done last year. I'm grateful, okay? But I'm doing a lot of other herbs and doing things to dialogue the way that I'm going to keep generating and moving forward. It's not just I go in and get it done and then oh God, I'm not back to strength. No, I got into reconstructing myself. You've got to reconstruct, re-dialogue, re-script. That's why right here, right now is so powerful, because that's the only place I can ever start from. And then when I'm right here, right now, I give gratitude for something immediately. So if you're noting down stepping stones, right here, right now, gratitude. How does that look? Okay, I'm right here, right now. Sitting out here with Alan by a fire in nature. Right here, right now seems pretty good. But if I sit here very long, my thoughts could trickle into, oh shoot, man, okay, I've still got to finish painting that other wall. I was going to cut that in and then get that painted. Oh, God, I got to get this done, get that done, get this done, okay. Oh, I've got to be here, be there. So what are all these things that are a part of our societal living that require us to, in order to be effective in the way that we live, effective meaning not taken, not strayed, not taken out of a homeostasis, a balance of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual equality. You know, we're doing our best to have this circle of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, north, south, east, and west, okay? Put a circle around those roads. They're connective. Give thanks for that north. Give thanks for that south. Give thanks for that east and for that west. Give thanks for those things that are bitter and cold, because they cause you to reach inside somewhere. Give thanks for that embrace of that eastern, or where we see that what we call the rising sun, but we're just spinning into it. Okay, we're coming into that, and yet we can't wait on those cold mornings to have it hit us. But you can't run faster than what the earth's already spinning, so you might as well hang out and let it come to you. Give thanks for that. Those south ways, you know, they say those are like the healing, warm. Oh, give thanks for that. Sometimes it gets real hot, and then you want the north. Oh, don't get caught up in cursing one. You want the other. Give thanks for all of them. They all play a purpose. Every person in my life played a position. I don't like how it all went down. I don't like being out in the middle of nowhere with people that I don't know, with only one person that I knew, and he's got guns at his head, and there's knives, and there's about 15 people surrounding us with guns and knives, because I didn't know that kid that I was with owed a lot of money. And it was my car. They found us because they were finding him. Situations will find you when you're not decisively living. What kind of situations do you want to find you? What do you want to run into? Where do you want to be if you're young right now? Okay, man, these years as a young child trying to fit in, holy smokes. So, where do you find your truth? Especially when you don't have a mom and a dad that seem to give you enough dialogue, enough information, enough valid truth to help you. But we can't say, oh, they didn't. What we have to do is right here, right now. I'm right here, right now, and I feel this way about my life, and I'd rather feel this way. So I'm going to give thanks that I felt this way, because it reminded me that I want to feel this way. Thank you, anger, frustration, depression, sadness, anxiety, panic, all these things for coming up and reminding me that what I really want is to be warm and secure and safe. And then I move closer to the fire, because warm, secure, and safe. See, we just kind of like, sometimes we isolate ourselves. We come away from the fire, and we almost, maybe we don't feel like we deserve it. Maybe we're too scared. Maybe we shut down so much. I don't know what it is, okay? But Judas Priest, you got to decide. You're already deciding by allowing those thoughts to regulate your life. Don't do it anymore. Choose something very powerful. You know, you're going to make something well in your life. I know that, okay? Everybody here on this planet has these seeds of greatness within them, okay? And so you're going to do well. I'm still here. I'm doing great. And I'm going to keep doing even better and better and better. That's just the way. So, in that way of increase, and you're young, whatever age you are right now, don't give in to this idea that you're into retirement if you're that old. Don't give in to this idea that, oh, I'm too overweight. I can't get up and do that. I tried yoga, but yeah, don't give in to that. Don't give in to any of these ways that keep you from rising. You always want to rise. You just got to get up. You have to. If you don't get up and take that first step, you're going to be stuck, whether it's by a fire or not. And if you're stuck, what happened a minute ago when I was blabbing, and then you had to do something for me there.
Reset?
Yeah, and then what else on our fire?
Boy, it continued to go down and almost went out.
Yeah, and I wasn't even caring. I was just blowing steam out, you know. But you're looking down and you're sitting closer and you notice, okay? So when we can notice other people that are struggling, when we can notice that other people are maybe going too far, when we're affected by the stimulus around us one way or another, are we allowing it to empower us and to be that rising one that can empower the others around and say, hey, come on, let's be better than this. We're sitting around here and we're bashing our friends because of that. And that's not the way. When you get in a habit of dialoguing negativity, it's going to just take you to those places. Get in the other habit, you know, say, hey, look, you know, I can find respect in something I can respect pretty much in most people given enough time. Because I think pretty much everybody in that beginning first breath of life wasn't in it to destroy. So we might as well give them that and then figure out how we can rise and empower them to remember that they're eternal too. You just have to remember you're eternal. So there's plenty to be thankful for. You just got to start speaking it. Give thanks for those hard times. Give thanks for the pain. Give thanks for the suffering. Because it can transition us. It can transform us. It can take us to new levels that are, well, maybe I'm a part of the solution. Yes, you are. So, that's what I have to say. What do you have in any closing stuff? Because you sat there real quiet.
Well, at the beginning of this podcast, you were kind of talking about the outside influence of people, of energies, and it kind of took me back, which I've never talked about before. When I was younger, I would always speak in regards, I would use excuses, oh, this other person didn't do that, so it's okay that I'm not. And that's one of the biggest traps ever, thinking about influence. And it was well before I met you, but that continued. That was the conglomerate, effect. That was the rolling that we talked about the last episode. It got me thinking a lot about that. Was almost trying to, just because I was choosing not to do something in life, I would try to find each individual, friends that I had or people that I knew, and use that, oh, well, I'm not alone in doing this. And it's the lamest excuse ever. And so that was the nice thing about learning about earth and spirit medicine, is because I had to take accountability of everything I was doing, first and foremost, and then beginning to it's not an easy quest, at first, especially when you're combating that negativity, that darkness, when you're finally standing up for yourself. I said a long time ago, I don't know if it was on a podcast or not, but I think it was the first time I ever stood up for myself was to a demonic. That was the very first. It wasn't anyone in the physical. It was something of the other realm. And that was probably one of the most, I probably took the hardest path in that moment to do something, because it was. But here I am, right here, right now, and kind of like what you just said, the best I've ever been. But it has been that journey of not giving up, of all that. I mean, gosh, I can't count how many times I've tripped and fell straight on my face. But that's the golden nugget effect, getting up and realizing, hey, how did I do that? Oh, wait, I was hanging out with this person, and it's not anything. I don't want to bash people here, but you don't know what they're being influenced by, and so sometimes it's just the maybe having distance away from them. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me right now is don't ever give myself an excuse and look for others to equate to be like, oh yeah, okay, they're getting away. Well, they do it too, so that means I can do it. Bull crap. So that's what I have to say in regards to all of that.
I think that's beautiful, and it's important to take a look at that, and that way of saying, okay, hey, first of all, he said something about standing up to the demonic, another realm. Okay, so what are we sometimes more afraid of? Our moms, our dads, standing up for ourselves? No, Dad, whatever that is. No, demon, okay, so whatever all that is. But when you finally usurp your personal power and you stand up in a way that says, I will never again be experiencing these things the way that I've been up to right here, right now. Because right here, right now, I'm making some changes. I'm doing things different. And then you do that, and you do that, and you do that. And then here we are today, okay?
Yep.
Beautiful hawk flying right here past us. So, you hear stories sometimes, but this is a good one. There's a guy, he's on a bus, and he's the one telling the story later in his book. His name's Stephen Covey. So he was talking about a dad and some kids that got on that bus. And the dad was just sitting there very solemn. The kids are running around out of control. A lot of people were getting bothered by this, apparently, according to the storyteller. Finally, he went over to this guy and he's like, guy, whoever the guy was, your kids are out of control. It's really seeming to bother a lot of us. I'm not sure if there's something, what's up, but it's seemingly out of control. Why are you not talking to your kids and making them settle down? He said, oh gosh, sorry. He said, we just came from the hospital. My wife just died. Their mother just died. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. So that's perspective for you. We don't know, like you said, what's going on with those others. Okay, we don't. And who cares anyway, in a way? If you're being bothered by it, you better start taking introspect. Go inside and say, why is all this bothering me? It has nothing to do with them. Because once you learn that they have a valid reason, why is that any different? So, circle is fire, okay? You're the fire. Stay in the center. Be centered, okay? North, south, east, west. Know your directions. Know them well. Know the stars. Know how to landmark. Know how to navigate. Know how to rise. Know how to do all these things by doing it over and over and over and over again, because the reason you're where you're at right here, right now today is because you've been doing something over and over and over and over and over already again, and probably without your so-called permission. So stay centered, okay? So stay centered in the middle of the four directions. North, south, east, west, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, thoughts, words, feelings, actions, cooperation, honor, respect, trust, water, shelter, fire, food. Stay centered. Take good care of yourself. Love yourself. Give yourself ceremony and rewards every day of your accomplishments. Don't get down on things you didn't get done. Plenty of time. Be nice. Be kind. Lend that offer to love and gesture to others, because we want that anyway. Have a beautiful day. Episode 4 over and out.
Did you hear that little bird? It sounded like a little jet.
Yes.